Welcome, I'm Millicent Walker. Tonight, police claim arrest of some persons suspected to be linked to the killing of 12 Catholic worshippers in Ozubulu, Anambra State, as church members gather for a funeral service. Court orders permanent forfeiture of $37.5 million property in Lagos linked to former Minister of Petroleum Diziani Alison Madueke. Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo insists Nigeria remains a top investment destination in Africa. And South African lawmakers to vote in secret tomorrow on a motion of no confidence in President Jacob Zuma.
On business news tonight, Federal Mortgage Bank gives loan to 740 civil servants to aid home ownership.
And on sports news, Nigeria's Glory Nathaniel qualifies for the semi-finals of the women's 400 meters, coming third in Heat 3 with a personal best of 55.30 seconds.
And from Abuja, groups protest continued absence of President Muhammadu Buhari from Nigeria. Presidency describes action as uncalled for, insists President Buhari has not broken any law.
We begin tonight in Ozubulu, Anambra State, where the shock from yesterday's bloodbath at St. Philip's Catholic Church appears not to have left the community. Some of the faithful today gathered at the St. Philip's Catholic Church where the shooting took place to pray for the peaceful repose of the souls of the dead and for the quick recovery of the wounded. The Mass, led by the Catholic Bishop of Nnewi Diocese, Most Reverend Hilary Okeke, was attended by Reverend Fathers and Sisters, as well as other members of the Church. Bishop Okeke explained that it was necessary to gather and assure the people of God's presence with them despite the tragedy that befell them yesterday. Gunmen yesterday invaded St. Philip's Catholic Church and killed 12 of its worshippers and wounded many others, an action that has sparked outrage across the country.
We have come here to turn to God in confidence and in trust for the dead, so that the dead will have eternal rest, for the wounded that they may have healing, for the parents and the families that they may be consoled and helped in every way, for the parish that the parish will have confidence in God, and even though they have gone through this suffering, that they will still know that God has not abandoned them. That is all we have come for.
We'll bring you more on that in the course of a bulletin. In the meantime, the Commissioner of Police, Anambra State Command, has confirmed the arrest of some persons in connection with the killing of worshippers in Anambra State yesterday. While giving details of how the attack was carried out, Mr. Garba Omar, who spoke to Channels Television a while ago, also called on the residents of the state to come forward with more information that can aid the police in their investigations.
We have made some arrests, as you must have heard, and those who were brought to the station, to the CID, are helping the police with the investigation. As of update earlier stated, 12 persons were confirmed dead, while 27 are now receiving treatment in various hospitals in the state. And that is the situation as of now. Precisely, an eyewitness, and from the information we gathered, investigation so far carried out, there are two persons that came. One waited outside the church, and the other one who carried out the destructive act went into the church a weapon, an assault weapon, which has not been identified what kind of weapon, but it is an assault weapon which he used based on the shells that was recovered at the scene of crime. We don't want to disclose the identity of those arrested yet, but I assure you that some people who are arrested and they are helping the police with information.
Meanwhile, Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano has been warning of dire consequences for persons who plan to carry out their criminal activities in the state. According to the governor, efforts are still ongoing to arrest the ringleaders of the attack in Ozubulu who he says are known to be members of a cartel living outside of the country. The governor had declared today a day of mourning in honor of the victims of the attack.
Feud started outside Nigeria and it's been on, I was made to understand yesterday, for a very long time in the country they are both residing in. But they decided to import that challenge into Anambra State, which we will not tolerate. We have put the law enforcement agents, they know all the people. We have actually picked up some of the key members, you know, and I'm confident that we are going to solve this kind of problem. The way we handle this will show them that you can't import your trouble from wherever you are in Africa and bring it to Anambra State.
And the acting president is assuring Nigerians, and particularly the people of a Zulu community where 12 people were killed on Sunday, that the perpetrators will be brought to book. He describes the attack as, quote, atrocious and mindless act of violence, end of quote. The acting president also commiserates with families, relatives, friends of the victims, the entire people and the government of Anambra State. Staying with security, 6 persons reportedly kidnapped in Emohua local government area of River State have been rescued by the police. The River State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Nnamdi Omoni, says the rescued victims are currently receiving treatment at the hospital, while men of the command are still combing bushes to rescue the other 2. According to the police, the victims were traveling in a commercial bus through Port Harcourt when they were attacked by hoodlums on Sunday. The driver of the bus sustained gunshot wounds during the attack. Security forces are intensifying efforts to end renewed attacks and ambushes in the northeast by Boko Haram militants. This is to see how the facilities are being utilized. The Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, paid a visit to the newly established Special Forces School in Buniyadi, Yobe State.
The Minister of Defense has conducted round the various training sites as the officers and men continue to show him series of military tactics such as range, obstacle crossing, among several others. His address to men of the command is for them to help Nigeria achieve unity irrespective of the country's diversity. He says the fact that the military has different ethnic groups fighting side by side to protect the nation's territorial integrity makes it a symbol of Nigeria's unity.
I have spent a lot of time to hear their problems. I've also gone around to see how we need to improve the facilities around here. So also the training on ambushes. I promise the nation that we are going to make special case for training because of the frequent ambushes that are happening in the theater of operation.
The Senate representative who's here with the minister gives an assurance that the war against insurgency will continue to be given attention by the lawmakers.
Request that came to us from the defense sector, we approved as such. We have not reduced any. In fact, if anything, there are certain areas that the slight increase, especially towards the insurgency, fight against insurgency. The armed forces is receiving a lot of attention, a lot of support from the National Assembly.
The Army headquarters says it's collaborating with other security agencies to tame the violence.
The Army, as you all know, have been involved in support of civil authority in the maintenance of internal security, in addition to its constitutional role of protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria. We will continue to ensure that all training schools in the Nigerian Army are provided with the basic facilities to ensure excellence and proficiency.
As security forces continue to re-strategize on how to end the Boko Haram insurgency, they say the political will of the present administration and support by members of the public will give them the needed impetus to get the job done. And an end may have come to the controversy trailing a luxury property in Banana Island, Lagos,
allegedly owned by former Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison Madueke. Well, that's because the Federal High Court today ordered the final forfeiture of the property to the federal government. The court also ordered that the sums of $2.7 million and 84 million naira realized as rent on the property be equally forfeited to the government. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shoyele, reports.
After granting an order on July 19 for the interim forfeiture of the property, the court had directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to publish the order in the newspaper so as to give an opportunity to anyone interested in the property and the seized funds to appear and convince the court why the interim order should not be made permanent. The court then adjourned till Monday, August 7, to hear from any such party. The court's vacation is still in force, and the premises was near empty. Counsel to the EFCC, Mr. Anselm Ozioko, told vacation judge, Justice Chuka Obiozo, that despite obeying the publication order, nobody had showed up to contest the forfeiture order. The property in question is one of several properties located next door to the Ocean Parade Towers in Banana Island, Lagos. It is designated as Building 3, Block B, Bella Vista Plot 1, Zone N, Federal Government Layout, Banana Island Foreshore Estate, and is said to have 24 apartments, 18 flats, and 6 penthouses. It was reportedly bought in cash for $37.5 million in 2013, and the EFCC says it reasonably suspects that the property was acquired with proceeds of unlawful activities by the former minister Diezani Alison Madueke. Apart from Mrs. Alison Madueke, a legal practitioner, Afame Funa Nwokedi, and a company, Rosimpex Limited, were also listed as respondents in the forfeiture application. But in the absence of the former minister or any of her lawyers or representatives in court, the EFCC urged Justice Obiozo to go ahead and order the permanent forfeiture of the property and the funds. In a short ruling, Justice Obiozo held that in the face of the publication which was placed as an exhibit before him, and there being no responses from any interested party, he had no other option but to grant the orders as prayed. The property and the funds are to be taken over by the federal government. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says the government is working hard on the power sector value chain to make it profitable and attractive for investors. Speaking at a meeting with a group of Nigerians from diaspora under the aegis of the Nigeria Initiative of Economic Development, Professor Osinbajo explains that as the government pushes to resolve challenges preventing growth, Nigeria remains the investment destination in Africa. Our correspondent Gloria Mwezeke reports.
The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, walks into the conference hall at the State House where he hosts a trade delegation from the Nigeria Initiative for Economic Development. His Excellency, the acting president. Members of cabinet, including the Minister of Health, Agriculture and Trade and Investment, gave a breakdown of the achievements in their sectors as well as the available investment opportunities.
We are launching a major cocoa offensive from next year, targeting 10 million trees a year in 28 states of this country. We do coffee, we do tea, we do cashew nuts. We're now number 4 worldwide. Our target is number 1 in 3 years' time. It is estimated that quite a number of our people travel out of the country to really seek for advanced medical care. But for us, we can reverse this. We can make Nigeria a destination for medical tourism.
Formalizing trade in the country and increasing export in line with a zero-oil pyramid is one goal these Nigerians in the diaspora might be familiar with, as they express a huge desire to contribute to national development.
How can we get revenue from the transportation and logistics that we will help our government? These are untapped resources that are in the country, and we have experts that will help us to bring the strategy to make it happen.
Nigeria is a place that's really waiting to happen, and it will happen. And that's really the point. It will happen. The truth of the matter is that any country that opens itself to free enterprise, the way that Nigeria is opening itself to free enterprise, will somehow find that it will work. We're insisting that the only way by which this country can make the progress that it needs to make is by private sector investment, beginning with local investment. So we're going to open up that power sector, and people are going to, and anyone who invests in the power sector will definitely make money, no question. It's going to be much bigger and better than even the telcos.
As the federal government illuminates on the gains of investment in the country, it also assures investors and Nigerians that the numerous challenges facing the nation's growth are expected to be surmounted sooner than later. Gloria Umezuki, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Nigeria's permanent representative to the African Union criticizes the failure of the National Assembly to pass the Affirmative Action Bill, and an economist joins us to talk on the economy. Join us again.